Hello, everybody. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I'm Andy Signor, and look, I'm not here to pile on Paul Feig. I wasn't even going to make a video on him because, first up, he was out in the news last week talking about his 3.5-hour director's cut that he'd love to put out there of his 2016 Ghostbusters reboot. He tweeted, "There's a 3.5-hour Ghostbusters after the call. I'd be happy to share it, the Feiger cut." And look, he put that on Twitter. That was what it was. Some fans said, "Yay, Paul," and some fans did not. They were mean. But whatever. I let that one pass, and it wasn't an issue to me. And then just, a couple days ago, this one came out. Ghostbusters all-female reboot was a victim of 2016's anti-Hillary movement, says director Paul Feig. Really, Paul? Really? That's where we're going? We're turning this political now? This one rubbed me the wrong way, so I wanted to go do some more research. I wanted to figure out where this was coming from. I wanted to figure out what he said because I saw a lot of people reporting on this, just jumping and hating on him. So let's go to the source first. Before I even share what I've already found, let's watch what Paul said on the Jess Cagle show about Ghostbusters' failure.
So was such a weird year. And after Trump was elected, I thought, I should have seen this coming. There was such a large part of the country that was so angry that women were Ghostbusters. Yeah. That should have been a red flag. And I wanted to know if you would reflect on that time and just how weird it was when Ghostbusters came out and how there were so many people that loved it, but there was this weird vitriol towards it.
Yeah, I think some really brilliant author or researcher or sociologist needs to write a book about 2016 and how intertwined we were with Hillary and the anti-Hillary movement. And like, it was just this year where, I don't know. Everyone went to a boiling point. I don't know if it was having African American president for 8 years, teed them up or something. But they were just ready to explode. And so by the time I announced in 2004 or 2014 or 15, when I announced I was going to do it, it started. And then there's tape of Donald Trump going like, "No, the women, Ghostbusters are women. What's going on?" Like, it's crazy how people got nuts about women trying to be in power or be in positions that they weren't normally in. And it was an ugly, ugly year.
All right, I will admit it was an ugly year. I remember the year very well. I remember when we did our Honest trailer, we turned off comments because we knew the toxicity was going to be through the roof, and we made it a part of the joke. But first, we want a brilliant author, sociologist to go waste time trying to connect the anti-Hillary movement to Really, Paul? That's a good use of time. That's a popular book. That's beyond silly. And just the use of everyone must have been this boiling point of everyone's losing their minds over an African-American president. I mean, oh my God, step out of your bubble, man. Like, that's ridiculous. There were people who were just mad at the movie, for one, because it wasn't funny. And there were people who were mad at the movie because it felt like, to your own pushing, that you were just like, no, we're making a better movie, all women. That absolutely was some of the narrative that was out there back at the time. Now, granted, there was also toxicity, but it went both ways. You leaned in and you fought back, and you made the all women sort of the thing about it. And look, if you're going to do that, if you're going to take a movie that is beloved and reboot it, like not even continue it, but just, you know what, we're making our own Ghostbusters, you're putting a target on your back. You were putting on a target on your back because there's a lot of fans who want to make sure you're respecting the original source material. And honestly, it didn't feel like a Ghostbusters movie to me at all. The cartoon, the sequel, I'm not even talking just the original one. It just felt like a mediocre comedy with a bunch of the same ghosts we've seen before from the cartoon. I didn't see anything original, scary, or funny in that new movie that warranted it even existing. That's really what I think we were all afraid of, and then it turned out to be accurate. That's why people were upset. Now, there was toxicity, and absolutely. And when I went back to find your articles back then, here's one from E in 2015, where you slammed the critics and you said, "The internet is really funny. I love it, but I hate it at the same time. The first wave, when you make an announcement like that, is overwhelmingly positive. Everyone's so happy, and you're like, this is great. And then comes the second wave, and you're like, oh my God, some of the most vile, misogynistic I've ever seen in my life. And then you continued. The biggest thing I've heard from the last 4 months is thanks for ruining my childhood." Again, that's not about the women right here, right? I don't know what tweet he's referring to, but for ruining my childhood could just mean like, where's Bill Murray? Why didn't you bring Bill Murray back? Come on, bring Bill Murray back. There's a lot of reasons why you could say this is, you're ruining my childhood. You're not making a sequel. You're just doing a new one, and now you're just throwing in our face that it's just women, and that's what you're selling this movie as, rather than selling it as a respectful, funny, worthy addition to the Ghostbusters canon. That's the movie has fans, Paul. You have to respect the fans. He continued, it's so dramatic. Honestly, the only way I could ruin your childhood is if I got in a time machine and went back and made you an orphan. Ha ha, so funny. Ha ha ha. Oh my God, dude, this is ridiculous. So you're basically telling them to be, you could have gone back and make them Batman. And then he says he often checks on the commenters' Twitter bios, just proving he was obsessed in this time period, checking to see who was hating on him. I figured it's some whacked out teenager. But almost constantly, it's someone whose bio says proud father of 2 and has some high-end job. You're raising children, and yet you're bashing me about putting women in my movie. Solid point. Now, again, the author saying solid point. He ironically, this is just interesting, could have been, I forgot, Channing Tatum was attached to another one that was going to be directed by the Russo brothers. And then Paul was sort of like, seemingly annoyed. Who knew there were so many ghosts to be busted in the world? All I know is my ladies are going to kick ass, and I would not want to go into battle without them. So look, the reality is here, and there's many articles you can go find and see, he made this a cause. This wasn't just like we're making a movie. He was out there vocally sort of poking the trolls. And then he got upset that he poked them so much that they got upset that they were turning even worse. And then not only that, he delivered a mediocre movie, and that's really where he failed. If you go through, he actually made a really is this the article? Yeah. He goes into this really fascinating piece about how he made a great regret in his life of this film, which was turning the film into a cause. And this was back in 2017, where he showed growth, and it was interesting. I think it kind of hampered us a little bit because the movie became so much of a cause. He's admitting this. I think for some of our audience, they were like, what the F? We don't want to go to a cause. We just want to watch an effing movie, the director says. And he still has mixed reactions, mixed emotions about how it all panned out. It was a great regret in my life that the movie didn't do better because I really loved it. It's not a perfect movie. None of my movies are perfect. I liked what we were doing with it. It was only supposed to be there to entertain people. But for all his frustration, he seems to have kept enough perspective. He was happy that they beat Star Wars Captain America at the Kid Choice Awards. But look, he was admitting because the movie became a cause, which he was doing when he fed the trolls. That's what happened. This is Paul Feig admitting this in 2017, that was the problem. That coupled with the fact that the movie wasn't funny enough for audiences when it did come out, because then people like me and others who were there hoping to defend it couldn't defend it. That's why Ghostbusters 2016 failed. But then once he said these amazing and wise things, he pivoted. And he already started this news article and the clip we watched. He already was sort of dipping his toe in this water back in September of 2018, saying that Hillary Clinton and Ghostbusters were caught in the same misogynistic vortex. Look, I don't like that he went political. I don't agree with him that he went political. I think this is misguided. I think he needs to let this one go. I am a fan of Paul Feig. I want to say that right at the gate before I say my final little rant here, because look, a lot of people I don't even think remember. Not only did he do Bridesmaids, which is what everybody sort of loves him for, he did The Heat, which I think was had some good moments. I didn't love Spy, but I know some people did. But he wrote and produced Freaks and Geeks, a brilliant show. He also directed some amazing television, including some of the funniest episodes of The Office, including The Dinner Party, Pam and Jim's Wedding, so many amazing episodes of The Office that he did, along with Parks and Rec and some other amazing stuff he's worked on and been a part of. So I am a fan of Paul Feig. I have been. And I wish he would just go make more movies. Let this one go. Move on. It was a miss. It was a miss. That's the nicest way we can say this. But the reality is, not only was it not funny, but even his own Dan Aykroyd, the original Ghostbuster, came out back in 2017 to just roast him about it. Listen to this clip.
Huge, still going because they've just made a sequel, not a sequel,
yeah,
a remake of it.
Yeah, the girls are great in it. Kate McKinnon and Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, what wonderful
Not about the
players
girls.
they are, and Leslie Jones. I was really happy with the movie, but it cost too much. And Sony does not like to lose money. They don't. It made a lot of money around the world, but it just cost too much, making it economically not feasible to do another one. So it's too bad. The director, he spent too much on it, and he didn't shoot scenes we suggested to him. several scenes that were going to be needed, and he said, no, we don't need them. And then we tested the movie, and they needed them, and he had to go back, and about 30 to 40 million in reshoots. So, yeah. Wow. So he will not be back on the Sony line anytime soon.
I mean, it's hard to tell if he's being serious or not, but the reality is that's a really fair reason. And here you have Dan Aykroyd, who wrote and was iconic in the first one, and you put him in and as a cheesy cab driver cameo. You put all of the original cast members in the cheesiest, most unnecessary, stupid cameos just to try to appease the audience that didn't even want to see your movie anymore at this point. It was just the whole thing just screamed, of just disrespect to the original fans, and then trying to like save face and fix it. The whole movie was a miss. It was a miss, Paul. That's why that movie failed. Stop trying to drag it into politics. This should have nothing to do with politics. You claiming it's because people were upset that we had an African-American president. Really? That's what you want to be remembered for in this when you die? That you couldn't let this go and you're going to make this political? Step out of the bubble, dude. I am not a Trump supporter, but I'm also not a Hillary supporter. There were a lot of us who wanted to support your film. We wanted to go there and be happy about this film and support it, laugh. I went to that theater. Everyone I went with, the people I didn't know, the people I was with, silence. We laughed a few times, and we didn't laugh at the ladies. We laughed at Chris Hemsworth. He was the star of that movie, and it just showed, don't just cast 4 funny women because that's your shtick. That's what you do in every movie you've done. Cast the funniest people. Figure out what script makes the most sense. What script's going to be funny, that's going to be able to put the best and funniest actors in it and the best characters and have it respect the material. Don't just redo it and have your ladies come in and do wonton jokes that fail every single time you did it. Come on, dude. That's just offensive what you're doing. And then as a old Hollywood liberal myself, I just see like you are making liberals look stupid. That's what you're doing right now. How do you not see that? It's frustrating. And I say this with love because I do know he's made some fantastic stuff. I don't understand why you would go down this direction still year after year after year, come back and stir up this political excuse. Is ridiculous. So I'm not a fan of that. Look, I'm not a fan of that. I don't like it. Move on from this one. The movie was a miss. What do you guys think? Am I crazy on this one? Do you disagree with me? I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. Leave them there. You can also hit me up on social media. We're going to be live tonight. It's Thursday for Nerd Wars with special guests. Have a lot of debates and fun. We'll take your questions. We do it every Thursday night, 9 p.m. live. So be sure to subscribe to Popcorn Planet. Watch all my other videos if you have time. And thank you so much for watching. See you soon.